So the menopause monologues are real life stories from women that you will see on stage tonight. Some are women who told their stories in our Bay Area production. Most are from local women who were brave enough to share their menopause stories. So you will see tonight actors who are professionals, who spend decades on the stage, some who have written for themselves for the very first time in their lives. And then you will also see women on stage who've never written anything, ever, or set foot on stage ever until tonight. Yes! Great. And thank you so much. Enjoy the
When you were here before, I couldn't look you in the eye. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You flow like a fan in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. You're so very special. But I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't care if it hurts. I wanna have control. Oh, and I want a perfect body. I want a perfect soul. I want you the most when I'm alone. You're so fucking special. I wish I was special, but I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. Yeah, I'm doing it. I don't belong here. Whatever you want, you're so very special. I wish I was special, but I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong.
You know, a lot of people listen to Dr. Ruth, but in secret. They brought their radios into their beds and went under the covers to listen. We had no sex education. That would have really helped. It was all taboo, very hush, hush. I was a nurse. I was a great nurse. And I married a brilliant doctor and had 3 great kiddos, and we had a little black dog named Raisin. And we lived in a nice house in the suburbs. But in my early 50s, I started feeling different. I had no hot flashes or night sweats, but I did have these huge, dramatic temper tantrums. This kind of behavior was far outside normal for me. I screamed, I ran through the house, I slammed doors so hard I cracked the frames. I fell on the floor crying, I stomped my feet, I stormed out of rooms, and once during dinner, I took off my belt and I threw it upwards so hard it left a dent in the ceiling. Well, it was the 90s. I guess I was wearing a really big belt. Maybe I had anger inside me that needed to be expressed. My husband thought he was always right. He was always right. But I was right sometimes too. And I would get so angry with him, and maybe it was hormones, maybe low self-esteem, maybe both. We ended up seeing a family counselor, and one time the counselor pulled me aside and he said, "Your husband thinks you might be going through the menopause." I was defensive and insulted. I had tried antidepressants, I had tried birth control, to help with the symptoms, but I went off because I was at risk for blood clots. My daughter's 56 now. I have no idea if she's gone through menopause. I never asked. I guess I got so used to not talking about this stuff. Seems a little late to ask now. Oh, I wish I could have talked to my granddaughters about becoming a woman. It seems like their generation talks about it. But, it's just not in my comfort zone.
Guys, I used to be nice. On Saturday, I came home early from work. It was 2 p.m. and I was exhausted. I came in the door, kicked off my shoes, and was climbing up the stairs to crawl and beg for a nap when my husband of 24 years came in and with a twinkle in his eye said,
"Before your nap, want to have a quickie?"
Now, you might be thinking, how sweet. But no, not me. I proceeded to laugh in his face. Big, deep belly laugh and screamed, "Have you lost your mind?" Or, "Are you serious?" Or something worse, like, "The thought of you touching me makes me want to dive off a cliff." And that's the moment I knew it. I was in menopause, and I wasn't nice anymore. Did you ever wonder why men is in the word menopause? In that horrified husband moment, I got it. Oh, I got it. I wanted a men-o-pause. A leave me alone-a-pause. A quickie in the afternoon-a-pause. My vagina was ready and dare say, yearning for some alone time. My vagina, who was once plump, pink, and glossy, ready to have fun, meet new friends, and party through the night, was now more interested in a comfortable night in, a cozy pair of pajamas, and possibly a cuddle with my cooling body pillow from Costco. To be honest, I feel pretty good about my vagina getting to retire. Periods for 40 years. Pads, tampons, sex, pelvic exams, childbirth, trampoline parks. She has had a good run. Not to mention, sex was starting to feel like those shoes that felt amazing when you tried them on in the store, but then you get them home and they start to rub and chafe and make you walk a little funny. Did I mention I don't sleep anymore? Well, I guess I can fall asleep occasionally, but at 2 o'clock every morning, I am wide awake. Boring podcasts have become my new nighttime companions. Me and my exhausted vagina could now recite the full history of the Gilded Age, the lineage of the Romanov family, and the dangers of the melting polar ice cap. We could win Jeopardy together. That is if menopause would stop messing with my memory. I used to have an excellent memory. Now, occasionally, I can remember my children's names. My mom has this awesome needlepoint in her house that reads, of all the things I've ever lost, I miss my mind the most. I'm not sure if I miss that the most or sleep. Both now seem like luxury items my girlfriends and I wax nostalgic about, like past lovers and flat tummies. Remember when I mentioned I used to be nice? I was a really good listener, and I let other people finish their sentences. I cared deeply about what everyone in my family ate. I planned amazing birthday parties, and I really tried to make everyone feel special. Is it horrible to say I don't fucking care anymore? Eat what you want, and here's some cash for your birthday. I would like to thank menopause for this, because always trying to make everyone else happy is exhausting. I also kind of like not giving a fuck anymore. Take me or leave me, me and my old vagina are fine doing our own thing. The pause has changed things for me. I now value simple things in life, like waking up in the morning and not feeling any aches or pains, sleeping through the night without having to pee, and not feeling hot or cold, but just right. I kind of like being able to slip in and out undetected, like a middle-aged ninja. Nobody cares what I wear, and I can get away with being totally unfiltered. Frankly, I do not miss having my period or worrying about getting pregnant. I loved my deep female relationships and what we've been through together. I like just being me. Not always nice, not always perfect. Menopausal me.
The sound of your bike as your wheels hit the ground, and then your engine in the drive cutting off. And I pushed through the swing door, and I stood out on the porch, thinking, fight, 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 at all costs.
Get the fuck out! His arm was rigid, pointing towards the door, and his face meant it. What did you say? Get out! I gave him the finger. Fuck you! No, fuck you! We had been together over 25 years, since our early 20s. Sure, things could get messy, but never did we speak to each other like this. We were never adolescent or aggressive in our arguing, and never, ever did we carry on in front of our son. Until today. Joey, who was 14, sat at the kitchen table in tears. I grabbed my keys, shot anger through my eyes at my husband, and left with the dog at my heels. It was a beautiful June day in the middle of the pandemic. I simply called a family meeting so that we could go over my son's homework so that he didn't fall too far behind. Besides the usual hemming and hawing and teasing me, today it was accompanied by resistance and resentment from them both. Long story short, I threw a pencil at my son. I, the adult, chucked a pencil in a menacing way at the table and hit my son in the face. My son, who was like so many kids, struggling with debilitating mental health issues. And that's when my husband stood up and ordered me to get the fuck out. I peeled out of that gravel driveway and sped to my secret spot. A 10-minute walk through the forest to a secluded bay. I sat on the hot stones by the shore, cuddling the dog as she licked my face. How could he? How could my gentle husband say that to me? Who did he think he was? Asshole. He acted as if he needed to protect my son from me. Me, who stayed up late every night since his birth, feeding, consoling, soothing, listening, playing baby panda, singing him lullabies, making Halloween sticker books, hiding the frickin' elf on the shelf, and reading the entire Harry Potter series out loud with British accents. More recently, I was staying up to hold him, giving him polysporin for his cuts as he railed against living. So yeah, it was difficult. But I was different. I eased myself into that frigid water as my dog paced with worry on the sand. My softness, my compassion, my endless patience now had limits. Those things that defined who I was were now disabled. I threw a fucking pencil at my kid's head. What is wrong with me? I floated on the surface, staring at the endless sky. What is wrong with me? I know my husband reacted to the situation out of instinct. But it was the look he gave me. Like I was a monster. I behaved like an asshole. I am not arguing that. But my God, in that moment, in all of these moments with this new edge, I so desperately needed him to pick me up and hold me and tell me, it's okay. I know who you are. And I still love you. Or don't say anything. But please lend me the softness my body no longer affords me. I needed grace. I needed a pass. I needed just an ounce of the love I have given out to this world. But you just don't know. I wasn't prepared. He wasn't prepared. Was I supposed to know it was the estrogen fueling my kindness? But you don't get a pass. You just become a monster. Except to my dog. At least to her, I'm still wonderful.
Oh my God. I train my eyes on a crack in the cement across our patio where I've laid my cheek and flattened my limbs to soak up the cool of the stone.
At this time, I have the honor to present to you the moral leader of our nation. I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
My dad was in the crowd at the I Have a Dream speech. He died last January. The October before, he went in for a surgery for a hole in his lung. They found a mass. A month later, mesothelioma. Started chemo Thanksgiving week. But my dad was a beast. Cancer? I mean, that was nothing. Death is a part of life, he would always say. Plus, he'd been a smoker. He worked with asbestos. We all knew this was coming. And it didn't make it any easier. By Christmas, he whispered in my ear, I lived a good life, a life I am proud of. And on Monday, January 15th, 2024, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, he passed away. Because having seen every episode of Gunsmoke twice, he understood story structure. A few months later, in July of that year, I had a panic attack. I was working this big job, and a suspicious package was delivered to my area. So I alerted the proper people. I said, yo, this is not a drill. And I hightailed it to the complete opposite end of the building. I mean, I ran. Not walked, ran about a mile away, turned into the bathroom, found a stall, and proceeded to cry uncontrollably for 2 hours. Everything was fine Okay, I'm pretty good at what I do, so I received a lot of praise, both for my work and for taking security seriously. A few months later, I started on my next project, because that's what you do, you know? One thing ends, the next thing starts. But this one was high visibility for a good cause, which is why it was so hard for me to explain why I was crying at my desk 4 days a week. I mean, yeah, corporate is challenging. But this was different. So after a little bit of soul searching and Googling for hours, I came to the self-diagnosis, because thanks to the internet, we're all doctors now, right? But I came to the self-diagnosis that I am in perimenopause. Yes! Uh-huh! Hell no! Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? Because what else could it be? You know, it couldn't be my son's refusal to go to school, or my roof springing a leak, leading to mold, leading to the demolition of my boy's bedroom, or the political climate as a black woman in America. And of course, there was no way it could be the sudden loss of my father in January of that year. No, y'all, I was crying at my desk because I was in perimenopause. There ain't nothing else going on here. So I did what any reasonable, gainfully employed, middle-aged woman would do. I ordered a cream off of an Instagram ad. Yo, for $150 and a 5-question survey, a licensed physician prescribed me hormone therapy. I mean, totally legit, right? But when the cream arrived, I second-guessed myself. Or maybe I second-guessed all those women on the internet who were just like me. And I finally broke down and called my doctor. I told Dr. Min my story, tears falling down my face. And Dr. Min put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Have you processed your father's death?" What? What does that even mean? And then he said, "Miss Harper, I think you may be depressed, and it's okay to get some help. I am going to prescribe you something. I want you to find a therapist, and I want to see you again in 3 weeks." Wow. I mean, there's something so magical about finally having a true diagnosis. You finally feel seen. You finally feel the sweet relief of having an answer. And oh, boy, you don't realize how bad something is until it's over. A few weeks later, the mood stabilizer coursing through my body, I thought to myself, this is what colors look like. I had forgotten. I had been looking at the ground all the time. My father always told me to be proud and stand up straight. Well, he said, "What the hell's the matter with you? Why are you walking like that?" But, I mean, I knew what it meant. I hadn't been looking up when I walked through the world. And even though my dad is gone, there are still plenty of things to see. So maybe I am in perimenopause. Or maybe it's everything else. Right now, I am depressed. But I am going to stand up straight and tell myself that is okay.
What do I do? What would Tina Turner do? Tina Turner do. Is my body wrong? Do I need to fix it? Why do my doctors keep prescribing Zoloft? My name is Hiva. I'm in perimenopause. I wish there was a different word. Yeah, something without men in it at all. Anyway, you know anything at all about my body? It's like a non-trust ball. Please, Kokua, reach out to me. By text. I don't talk on the phone, you see. Especially if you're an older woman, please reach out to me. My name is Hiva. Spelled with a W, sounds like a V. It's Hawaiian. Still in perimenopause. 2 years. Trying to figure it out and still be me. Oh my gosh, I just learned it's normal to have itchy ears. Yeah, fine. This beat feels lost like a child. It's dark and then a dancer's nightmare happening. Can't control my body. Frightening. I'm adrift. Disconnecting. Oh, find the drum. Breathe. Find the beat. E kahi, e lua, e kolu, e ha. Hi'ile, keiki, kawehi a kawena, ku'ukupuna wahine, e nana aho ike, e hula au a e ho'olohe. 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 E ho'olohe mai ko'u kupuna ia'u. E hamama na'o ko'u elohe pono. E ike I ko'u kino I ka oia i'o. E u'i ko'u mana'o e kana'o. Oh. E u'i ko'u mana'o me kana'o. Oh.
What the fuck, menopause? I am 55 years old. My kids are 16 and 12, and our hormones are colliding. Little did I know
when I started having kids at the geriatric pregnancy age of 39 that we would be experiencing life's major hormonal shifts at the same time. I mean, I guess I understand why their behavior is a little crazy, but I was not prepared for my level of crazy. The rage? Why am I such a biatch? Why am I so impatient? Why does everything annoy and pre-annoy me? I mean, I had always thought of menopause as, I don't know, you stop getting your period and a couple years of hot flashes. My mom was always running a bit hot and sweaty. But I was never expecting the litany of shit that I'm going through. Itchy ears. What in the actual fuck? Eva, it's a thing. Achy joints, motherfucker. Exhaustion. Work. Motherhood. Menopause. I'm so fucking tired. Brain fog. Do I have dementia? The rage. The fucking rage. And no sex drive. So literally, no fucking. I'm so sorry, John. So yeah, what in the actual fuck is going on? How is this me? How did I get here? How would you not run for the hills? Will my children look back on their teenage years and think of me as a raging lunatic? I hope not, because that makes me real sad. So, that line gets me every time. So as I battle this hormonal chaos, like probably many of you do on a daily basis, I can just only hope that as soon as my estrogen patch and my progesterone pills kick in, that I'll stop being such a fucker, and maybe John just might want to fuck again.
I had everything. All the symptoms. Night sweats, hot flashes, mental fog, trouble sleeping, irritation, and something that was entirely new to me. Periods of sudden, overwhelming, deep sadness and depression. I felt like I drove over a sinkhole and fell right in. My husband was 9 years younger than me, so I didn't tell him what was going on. I thought I was going through menopause. I was embarrassed by it. I felt so much shame. You see, I climbed high up the corporate ladder at that point, and at meetings I'd get hot flashes and I'd secretly wet the sweat off my face. You did not talk about women's stuff in the office or get older. Both signs of weakness. I never took HRTs because there was all that confusion about how it caused cancer. My mother had really difficult periods, and when she reached middle age, she had horrible, dangerously extreme bleeding. Well, she didn't talk about it. But one day when she picked us up from school, we got out of the car and we saw she left a huge puddle of blood on the car seat. And she explained, "Oh, well, I'm having a hysterectomy to get rid of this bleeding." She never mentioned the word menopause. There was so much less information back then. We just got patted on the head and told to deal with it. Suffer in silence. I tried to educate myself, but I would come across these articles that insinuated that because we were told by our mothers that we would get hot flashes during menopause, that's why we got hot flashes. Like it was psychological, like some power of suggestion. So blame it on your mothers and it's all in your head. I saw these articles about the joys of menopause. You know, about having not to bleed so much or worry about getting pregnant. They were just trying to pep us up. I thought I'd rather get my period than this. I think these must have been written by a man.
Hello, Coochie Campers! It's me, your favorite camp counselor, Rainbow High. Because when I say rainbow, you say hi. Rainbow High! Rainbow High! So good. I want to welcome you to the Camp Coochie Campfire songs. Because whether you have a ding or a dong, you all can sing along. We're going to start with a Camp Coochie favorite. Are you ready? Yeah! Are you ready? Yeah! When a young girl comes of age, that girl begins the first stage. By that on age, she starts to flow. The menstrual cycle is a go. Blood streams out each 30 days, drips and drops from gushing waves. Bugs and pads, we soak it up, so even use a menstrual cup. Menstruate, girls, menstruate. Woman now, girl, ain't it great? Oh, sure it hurts, cramps are a pain, but suck it up, girl, don't complain. The next stage really, really rocks. You're licking clit, you're taking cock. You're fucking, sucking, getting laid. Chasms running wild cascade. Sex so good, you're made delight. Sex so good it lasts all night. Every inch of you is kissed. Slap and tickle, pinch and twist. Go have sex, girls, go have sex. Eyes, gals, and fun objects. Feel so good, girl, don't you stop. Savor every single drop. Moving on to the final stage. Now we deal with fits of rage. Tight sweats, joints hurt, gaining weight. You're not yourself, you're full of hate. See, hole which once was wet, it's fragile, dry, and quite upset. Digging for your buried treasure causes pain and pure displeasure. Menopause, oh menopause, old now girl and full of flaws. Your pussy's parched and prone to itch. That is life, girl, don't you bitch. Girl, you make me feel dread, but menopause don't mean you're dead. Rebel against with teeth and claws and say fuck you to menopause. And say fuck you to menopause. And say fuck you to menopause. Okay, so here's my story. About 7 years ago, when I was like 45, I bled for a month straight. Every day, I think it'd be done, but nope, still bleeding. So I did what anyone would do in that situation. Opened up my laptop and went on Google. After about 10 minutes, it was, of course, crystal clear that I had endometrial cancer, as well as no other horrifyingly scary issues. Fucking Google. I spiraled and thought I was dying. Yeah, I know, any of you out there are aware that irregular bleeding during perimenopause is completely normal, but I didn't know that. I had never even heard of the word perimenopause. And that other word, menopause, that was just some obscure shit that happened when you're way older, right? That murky time in the distant future my Nana had called change of life. Well, turns out my doctors were just as clueless as I was. Doctor number one, he had no idea what was going on. He was very puzzled. And he actually asked me, "Are you sure the bleeding's coming from your vagina and not your penis?" I know. So I had some more tests done. And doctor number two found a fibroid, but she said it was too small to be the cause of the bleeding. She said nothing more, sent me home. Doctor number three, yeah, that guy, he said to come back if the bleeding got heavier. But likely things would just work themselves out. After that, I just kind of gave up. I mean, I assumed the doctors knew what they were talking about. My periods continued to be weird and unpredictable until eventually they stopped altogether. A whole year passed, and nothing. So I did the only thing I could do at that point. I went on Google again. And yeah, it was menopause. Nobody ever told me. Not one doctor ever said the fucking word. Not perimenopause, menopause, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. They never told me that perimenopause can start as young as early as age 35, or that menopause is most common between 45 and 55. Nobody taught me, nobody talked about it, nobody told me. But now I know. So, Google and I have a much more healthy relationship, and I use it to educate myself on all things menopause. I've read a gazillion books and articles, listened to countless podcasts, watched a bunch of videos, and at this point, I don't consider myself an expert. And you better believe I'll be teaching my daughter about it too.
Julia Pradami? Julia Pradami? Yeah, we're ready for you.
Julia Prudhomme. Thank you so much. Menopause! You nasty beast! Brain fog, can't focus, crying jags, shitty short-term memory, and isn't the temperature in this room just a little bit warm? I mean, would I be bothering you? Could I just open that window? Just a little bit, just that window right over there. It's okay, I'll be right there. One second. I just have to. Where's all I get this fucking My inner thermostat has thoroughly malfunctioned, and the heat has just kicked into high gear, and there's a mirror in this office. Rosacea circles have exploded on my cheeks like dark red shiny tomatoes, and the rest of my face is pale as a sheet, almost gray, and I'm streaming with sweat. I don't mean that I am glowing. dewy, moist. One or two drops lightly resting atop my brow. I mean, Niagara Falls. I look like a shower in human form. It's stinging my eyes! This whole thing is a betrayal. It gives the whole game away. I can't look cool. I can't look relaxed. I can't look at ease. This is happening. Am I really here?
Huh. Okay. Good. Hey, could you just try that again with a more youthful energy?
Dry vagina. I'm sure you want to hear about that. Imagine the most delicate, tender, highly sensitive spot on your skin. And suddenly it's hard grit sandpaper, peppered with little flecks of burning acid and shards of glass. And it's also where you pee. Which hurts every single time.
Oh wait. Can you give me the chicken salad? No onion this time. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're just taking lunch orders.
Many of us get a random assortment of symptoms, sort of a selection, a variety pack, if you will. Hey, oh, what's in my personalized menopause swag bag? Oh, anxiety. It's not fun. Not fun from the people in my life who wonder why. Why have you gone completely bonkers, crazy, raving mad? Or when will the you that I know come back? Oh, look! Ah, depression. Waves of intense, deep sorrow and hopelessness out of nowhere. You're just doing your thing, going about your day, and whoosh, it's there. I mean, whose body is this anyway? God, it happens overnight. It does. You wake up one morning, look in the mirror, and wonder, who the fuck is that? And it's a scary thing when what you look like impacts your career, your livelihood, your perceived worth. Oh, and on top of all of that, I was diagnosed with DCIS. Ductal carcinoma in situ, May of 2023. Over 80% of women diagnosed with this are postmenopausal. It's an early, non-invasive form of breast cancer. Some doctors consider it not cancer, but if you ignore it, if left untreated, it can change into invasive, bad, scary breast cancer. So what do? Well, Duke University came out with the most comprehensive study to date on treatment options for DCIS. The results suggest that active monitoring could replace surgery, mastectomies, and radiation. And this came out in December 2024. My breasts were reduced, reconstructed, and radiated. They took so much out, they had to do a lot of rearranging to balance out my rack. And now my new, smaller set sits high, just above my hefty, distended postmenopausal Buddha belly. The entire shape of my body has been turned upside down, and I have no idea how to dress it anymore.
Okay, thanks, Julie. That was great.
Thank you. Menopause, cancer, postmenopause, the body, the self. I'm doing this show to learn how to love maybe my new physical self, which is still my old physical self, but also not at all. And I'm here, as I am now. Whether I'm invisible to them or to you, I am here. must have been the war that drove her over the edge. Or maybe she was a lesbian, trapped in a marriage with an overbearing man. My grandmother was too smart to be a housewife, they said, which must be why she fled into the night, naked, screaming, pulling at her cascading hair, and while they may be right. On a winter's evening, when peeling layer after layer isn't enough to cool the heat climbing up my chestnut cheeks, I run outside. Oh, I feel the rain against my face. Surprised it does not fizzle. Oh. And as my arms spread wide to catch the breeze, I wonder what it is they'll say about me!
On October 19th, 2021, my mom's pussy fell out. When I was 42, I started to feel off. I was traveling a lot for work, and I thought that the time change was causing the sleeping problems, and then I thought the sleeping problems was causing the offness. There was exhaustion, irritability, weird rashes, but the worst was this deep and pervasive meh. I'm a very high energy person, but I was struggling to send an email. Everything just felt pointless, except for when I was angry, which was a lot. You know, there's a lot to be angry about. So I call my mom, and I ask my mom when she went through menopause, because there's like a teeny voice that says, maybe this has something to do with getting older, and I want to manage my expectations. I know nothing at this point about perimenopause, just that menopause is this like big looming date, like a graduation. So my mom kind of dismisses me. She tells me that she had a hysterectomy, the doctors took everything out, and back then they didn't know that, like, they try to leave your ovaries today, but they didn't know any better back then, and she thinks that they did it preemptively before she even went through menopause. I guess it was kind of a thing. And she can't remember if she had any symptoms. She can't remember what age she was when they did it, just that they took it all out. Like, her uterus and ovaries were done making babies, so best just to get rid of them. Like wisdom teeth. The next call that I make is to Kaiser, and I describe to them all the things. The exhaustion, the rashes, the irritability, the meh. And the doctor, who is a woman, listens on the phone. I imagine her nodding, and she says to me, just really sympathetically, yeah, you know, what I tell my patients who are going through this, and I lean in, I have a pencil, and I'm taking notes because my memory's not so good right now. I tell them to go out and get a fan. But not one of those table fans. You need to get one of those tall fans, like on a stick. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna put that fan right at the foot of your bed. I'm totally silent. Are you there? She says. I'm literally stunned. And it's a good thing that we're on the phone, because I would have taken the pencil that I was using to take notes and I would have stabbed her in the eye with it. A fucking fan? Are you serious right now? 30 years ago, you scooped out my mom's entire insides and all I'm being offered is a fucking fan? Oh no, I'm sorry. A fan on a stick. my perimenopause situation kind of figured out. I'm on my first patch. I'm feeling pretty good. And my mom calls me. And she asked me if I can drive her to the hospital for this procedure that she's having done. And I'm like, what's going on? And she said, well, last week I was bending down to pick something up, and when I stood up, I felt something tearing in my lower back. And it turns out that's where they attached everything after the hysterectomy. And when the stitches gave way, it all just came out. And I'm quiet for a minute because I don't really get it. And then I get it. It all just came out. See, when you get a hysterectomy, they remove your uterus. There's nothing there anymore to hold up your vagina. So they attach the top of your vagina, well, they attach the top of my mother's vagina to her tailbone. And when those attachments, which are just a few stitches apparently, failed her, her vagina fell out of her body, literally. And when she called the doctor, they didn't have an appointment to see her for like a week. So my mom walked around for a week with her pussy falling out of her body. So I took her to her appointment. It was just an outpatient procedure, really. And I got home that night, and I changed my patch, and I patted my uterus, roughly where I think my uterus is. I thank her for the glorious and tireless work that she does every single fucking day, holding up.
Next day, up until now in a rush to prove, but now I only move to move. I'm never meant to order away. Up until now it was day next day, up until now in a rush to prove, but now I only move to move. I'm not gonna to order away. Up until now it was day next day, up until now in a rush to prove, but now I only move to move. I'm not gonna to order away. Up until now it was day next day, up until now in a rush to prove, but now I only move to move. I'm not gonna to order away. Up until now it was day next day, up until now in a rush to prove, but now I only move to move. water away. Up until now it was day next day. Up until now in a rush to prove. But now I don't move. Move on like a nut to water away. Up until now it was day next day. Up until now in a rush to prove. But now I only move to move.
My unsung friend! I wish I had loved you more when you were tending to me, unseen and unheard, like a well-behaved child nicely tucked into all my cells, curls, pretty dresses, clear skin, freckles. Esty, you who gave me power to spring and bleed and curse, to think and dream, to touch and feel, to drip and drool, to feel the touch of the cool, sweet hand of my lover. Blood and bones, brain bursting. You who made me a mother. Fucker! Where are you now? I birthed and nursed and dreamed and bled, leeched myself without knowing that one day, way too soon, you too would leave. As they are doing. Spotted, reappearing sometimes, unexpectedly. Estradiol, my new best friend. After the fog and the slow retreat of the skin, the arid crinkle, freckles turn to spots. Spotting gone, unstuck. I am reminded of my unsung friend. Loved round patch of sweet relief sticks to me, and I to it. Woo!
If you're ever frightened, just run and hide by the time it is 8 miles.
I'm 8 years old. I have a big imagination, and I like to write in my journal and wonder. I have a lot of feelings, too many feelings. I have too many feelings in my body, so I think about my body. I think my body is fat. Good job. Because that's what real girls do. Real girls think about what's wrong with their body and find stuff to say sorry for. So, I'm sorry I'm fat. I'm sorry my breasts don't look as good as my sister's. I don't know what to do with my arms. Sorry. I'm 15 years old. I have a big imagination. I like to write in my journal and wonder. I'm thin now. I can tuck my sweater into my pants and belt it. I have a lot of feelings, too many feelings. I have too many feelings. I also know that I'm internally, secretly very fat, and I will get fat again someday, so I'm watching you. I am watching her. I'm sorry. This one armpit, no hair grows. And under this one, all the hair grows. And when we get a good razor at my house, I'm going to shave all of that off. So men do not have to witness my kind of woman body, because I have a woman body that just does all kinds of disgusting things whenever. I'm 26 years old, and I don't fuck right because sometimes when I fuck it really hurts, and it's not supposed to really hurt, and I think I don't fuck right because I think when I fuck, and you're not supposed to think when you fuck, and I don't fuck right because I'm not straight enough. I'm sorry, and I don't fuck right because I'm not gay enough.
I'm 39 years old. And I'm sorry, I have a big imagination. And I'm sorry, my body has too many feelings, not enough feelings, too many. I go to the gynecologist. Sorry. Wait, no. I go to the gynecologist. Who cares? Wait, I rode a Pegasus and I touched the sun. Why are you making this such a big deal? Because going to the gynecologist is a noble, brave, sacred event. I grant entrance and allow a touch. Here, not just a touch, a full-blown fish around. Okay, you know what? Don't show me, okay? Just pretend it's no big deal. Pretend that this is small. It is small. It's just like big as a pear or some other piece of fruit. That's true, but one touch here and it's huge. So now I have a big imagination, and I'm writing in my journal about how I make decrees about all of this without consulting her. But I'm also writing about how the writing and the big imagination, I'm finally learning to have the audacity to feel more than think about myself. And then I write that I'm in the peri part of the pause of Menno. And that's when I thought, well, you're ruined now. Just skulk away, little girl, old lady. Stay out of the way from the real women and say you're sorry. But what? That's not me thinking that. Thoughts that come from me, right? They would work in concert with my body and my feelings. Those are male gaze glasses thoughts. And I keep putting them on because I think that's how you survive. But guess what? Male gaze is not designed to help me survive or thrive as a growing woman. The male gaze glasses only know how to say unhelpful shit, to think it's keeping me safe, wasting my lifetime saying I'm sorry and not being in wonder. In wonder? About what? Wonder about the whole universe I have right here. She's right here. That's what she looks like. She is speaking and moving and releasing and building and discovering and recovering, and she will be here doing that forever. No matter if the gaze glasses gets me to ignore her, the whole universe is right here. So when I wrote about being in the peri part of the pause of Menno, and then I heard my inner Elon dude, I told him to get out of my treasury department. I went on a great journey. This journey was a modern day version of a friar in medieval times going to a deep cave with a really drippy waxy candle and opening a dusty tome that then they cross-reference with a scroll that they found on a hill with a dragon, and that is just a bit of an idea of what it's like to do your own research about your health as a woman. And I've learned how to look and how to think and find my own thoughts, and I'm never forgetting for long again, my sweet little body is mine. To bring and bring and bring into alignment, to teeter her totter, and keep pulling off those glasses. Keep finding her answers, getting her needs met by going to a doctor, writing in a journal, going to the forest, if that means an actual forest, or the forest of the internet, or the forest of here, going, gathering information, and then doing what every femme, witch, and midwife has done throughout the ages, getting that and sharing what I found. I don't care if you were born with the universe uterus. Your metaphorical uterus is always calling to you. And time does not exist here. This idea of subsequent ages edging each other out. No age of you is ahead or behind or in charge. The truth is, all of the ages are real girls still. All of the ages tend to the other ages still, with the wisdom or the freshness that age might need to feel valid. In the uterus universe, the ages are there for us always. They're just holding space for creation. That's why we're here. We're here to create for and with all of our ages. And yes, I know we have changed, yes. But yes, we have not changed. There is now, and what was, and what will be, and who I am now is all of me that has always been, and all of me that is coming next. And we get to use all of those ages to fuck and write and sing and cry and mother and march. And as my favorite quote from Madeline Ingalls says, I am still every age I have ever been. You're not such a big deal. Oh, but I am! These glasses! I'm a huge deal! And so is she, and her, and her, and her, and her, and her, and her, and her. We are all such big deals. If we weren't such big deals, they wouldn't keep trying to get those glasses back on. Woo! Woo! And I take it all back. I am not sorry for anything my body has done, is doing, or will do. I have a big imagination and a lot of feelings. I am 52 years old. You have a big imagination and a lot of feelings. I want you to see all of your ages. I want you to witness how each age is so full of praise for all of your other ages, and how your magnificent spirit and body traverses this world. Inside and outside, how she has survived and thrived in all those changes, inside and outside. What a big deal you are. Hold that vision. Be in wonder of all of our insides, and be in wonder of all of our sisters outside. Each of us holding each other dear, like Mother Earth is holding us.
I'm one of 11 children. I have 5 older sisters. And I have no idea what they went through during menopause because we didn't talk about it. I had really bad periods, tons of bleeding and horrible cramps. And in my mid-40s, they got even worse, along with migraines so bad, my husband had to take me to the emergency room. And I remember the doctor said, "You're going through a change." I was confused. I thought I'd been doing everything right. I was a chubby girl, but I eventually lost weight as an adult. But then when I gained weight during menopause, all these childhood weight issues, old trauma really came back so strong. I felt fat and ugly and bloated. I remember we took a family vacation to San Diego. And for the first time, I felt I couldn't wear the bathing suit I normally wore, and I had to wear an old lady bathing suit instead. That vacation was ruined for me. Completely ruined. You know, I never wanted any help. So I never took any medications or any hormones because I was determined to be so strong. I was not gonna let this happen to me. You know, the emotional struggles were much more difficult for me than the physical ones. It was so hard trying to be happy all the time. And I never wanted to admit I needed help. But my daughter's generation, you know, the women going through it now, I love how open they are to talk about it. You know,
At 50, though, I became an entrepreneur. I quit the magazine I was working for. Well, they didn't pay me enough, and I was doing all the work anyway. So I started my own bridal magazine, and it was so successful. I started the second one. You know, I'm really glad you're doing this show. I hope it gets more and more people talking about it. You know, it's really important. If I could go back and give my younger self a piece of advice, it would be this. Share what you're going through with your partners and your girlfriends. Sharing is the perfect medicine for women. Woo!
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I have to charge. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I have to charge. You want it?
I was once forced to ride in a car where every time I climbed in, I got punched in the face. Caroline's stubby little legs just couldn't get me high enough into this gigantic SUV, and BAM! The edge of the driver's seat nearly knocked me out every time. And not in a good way, if you know what I mean. Oh, sorry. I should have introduced myself. Hey, Caroline, come here. It's me, Caroline's vagina. Well, her vulva, her bits, her whole shebang. You get it. I'm here today because there's been a whole lot of talk about us vaginas, and I thought you'd like to actually hear from one. Anyways, it was a fancy SUV, a really nice brand, one she'd never owned before, and apparently she cared more about that than the beatings I was taking every day. I guess I should have been used to it at that point. I had spent a lifetime being brave and resilient in the face of mortal peril. From confusing childhood rubbings to coarse vending machine cardboard tampons, from the rough fingers of careless young lovers to the indignities of cold speculums, and then the real cherry on top, pushing out 3 babies into the world. Yeah! I did that. I will now hold for applause. I stretched and expanded. I got the job done. I did the best I could. But even so, I admit I did tear during that first one. I ripped. I was inexperienced. Give me a break. In the delivery room, before I even had a chance to catch my breath, the doctor stitched me up and then stitched me up some more. Too much. He looked up from me to Caroline and said, I gave ya a husband stitch. She was delirious and in shock and had no clue what he was talking about. She had never heard of such a thing and hadn't been given the choice or her consent. But I knew exactly what he had done to me. And boy, was I pissed. not to be an angry vagina in this world, I tell ya. Sometimes I just wanna. But us vaginas, we take pride in being strong and flexible and resilient. And so I move on. Listen, between you and me, I find it hilarious that these humans refer to being brave and tough as having balls. What's more tender and fragile than a soft, dangly testicle? I digress. Today I stand before you, a 46-year-old vagina. It's kind of like counting in dog years. In vagina years, that's a ripe old age. Typically around this time, we vaginas all pack our bags and move down south to enjoy our golden years. But not to Florida. Too much moisture. No, we prefer Arizona or the desert, the dry desert. Someplace so dry that the single drop of rain to fall from the singular cloud evaporates before it hits the cracked brown earth. So there I was just a few months ago in the middle of packing my bag, looking forward to my well-earned retirement, when all of a sudden Caroline gave me something, a little white pill called estradiol. It was not. She gives it to me a couple times a week, I think. I swear it has made me feel 16 again, so plump and pretty. I guess we'll save Arizona for later. Listen, I've taken up enough of your time. I'm not used to all this attention these days. And to be honest, Caroline is going to be ticked off when she hears I've been laughing my lips at ya. But I just want to say to all my fellow vaginas out there, and it looks like there's a lot of you. Oh, wait, Caroline, get out here. No matter who you are or where you come from, it's pretty much guaranteed you've been through some kind of hell. But you're here today. Look at you. Young or old, lively or tired, moist or dry. You're damn resilient and strong. And personally, I've never been more proud to be a vagina. I love you, all of you. I really, really do. Thank you.
Hotter than a fantasy, living like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire, filled with catastrophe, but she knows she can fly away. Oh! She got her feet on the ground and she's burning it down. Oh, she got her head in the ground and she's not backing down. This girl is on fire.
I've never fit, but I won't complain and I won't quit. I am enormous, get used to it. Everyone tells me I'm too much. Maybe it's just you're not enough for me. Can't you see I'm the kind of woman I'm supposed to be?